there are various ways of looking at colic. But the way I see it is that when a child is having colic, they're not being burped to start with. That it's burping that's the issue. So if you learn how to burp, and surprisingly most mothers don't know how to burp. If you learn how to burp early, you don't have an accumulation of gas in the child's system. Because that's what happens. If the child is breastfeeding, they're swallowing air. If you're not getting rid of that air, it goes into the intestines. The intestines are pretty long. So if you learn how to burp effectively, you can avoid colic. That is one. But secondly is the sleeping position of babies. That you need to constantly adjust a child's sleeping position because they can't do it themselves. They don't have too much strength. You will notice that if you leave them in one position, before they learn how to roll over, they'll stay in that position for quite a bit of time. So you consistently change a child's position, and once in a while, when it looks like they're very colicky, you can put them in, well, that would need to be demonstrated, but in a sleeping position where they're lying on their tummy, but you're watching them. We're very afraid of putting babies on their tummies now because of something called SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Well, it's a concern, but as long as you're watching the child and they look like they are fussy, sometimes putting them on their belly for a short period of time seems to help. The other thing that you could actually consider is a pacifier. But if the child is very fussy and it looks like the colic is not responding to any medication that your doctor or your advisor has given, you could consider using a pacifier, because a pacifier actually, it soothes the child. If you let the child stay on the breast for too long, you don't do anything else yourself. So the pacifier can help. The last thing is that sometimes what is considered colic is actually not colic. A child could have reflux. The symptoms of reflux and the symptoms of colic are pretty much the same. The child is fussy, they cry all the time, they bring up milk. What they're probably having is heartburn. So before you consider that it's colic, probably get advice that it could be something else.
As a father of 3 boys, I want to ask a follow-up question to one of the comments you made.
Yes.
You said one of the key challenges is that mothers do not know how to burp babies correctly.
Yes.
What is the right way of burping babies?
The stomach is just below the ribs on the left. After a little bit of experience and you keep experimenting with different positions, you will find a position that works for your child almost every time. Because burping needs to be as close to 100% of the time after feeding as possible. Because that's the only way you will really avoid colic. So you can hold the child. Can I have a baby? Hello. Now, if you most of us know the shoulder position. If you're going to use the shoulder position to burp a child, now remember that a child's stomach is just below the ribs on the left there. I can find it easily because I know how it is, but there you find the edges of the ribs with the first of your fingers, then just gentle pressure. You'll eventually find the right amount of pressure that will work for this. Now, so you can actually burp a child in a number of positions. Don't worry, I'll not drop your child. This, you can hold the child like that. You're very happy. Okay. Or you can hold her against yourself like this. The baby who's being burped will be much younger, so they'll probably not have as much tone as this one, but this. If you're using your shoulder, you put the child in that position. It should be up there because you're using the sharp point. Using the sharp point of your shoulder against her tummy, and you cannot use your right shoulder because it will be on the wrong side. You're trying to do it on your left side. So that Okay, this baby is a bit too old for burping. So, a position like this, that it's not comfortable to burp a child, even for the child. They'll be fussy, they'll kick, but so you're looking for two things. Either there's a sound, the sound that they make when they burp, or a bit of milk comes out. Either way, it's the same thing, because what you're trying to do is, if this is the stomach of the child and this is your food pipe, there's a valve here that you need to open so that air can escape. Pressing on the stomach will mean that some of the milk that they've taken, once they've burped, some of the milk will come up. So either the sound or a bit of milk, or you can use your thigh like this. You don't like that one? Okay. So this. Okay, fine. Okay. Or if you're lying down, you can actually use the side of your body, because as long as you remember that you're trying to put the child on the left side against pressure. So even when you're lying down, you can actually burp a child when you're lying down. So experiment. Any subsequent mother that you meet, they'll always ask you, because they've had, everyone believes that someone who's had a child before them has a little bit more knowledge about babies than them. So show them, even if it's not for yourself, well, you'll So, because the earlier it is that a child learns, the mother and child learn how to burp, the better for the both of them. They're more comfortable, they feed better, they sleep better. If the mother is sleeping better, there's more milk. So it's a win-win situation if we can start burping early. All right. Have I answered your question? No.